So how's life now in pre-season?
Yeah, mate, it's going really well. I've done a bit of weighting, so feeling a little bit fitter. I think that's getting us through pre-season a little bit better than I have in previous years. So I knew I was going to have to do a lot of running. So in the off season, I decided to run more. Whereas I'm a bit of a gym junkie, but I decided to do a bit more road running stuff. So I'm just a little bit fitter. So just a little bit less harrowing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. What kind of stuff are you doing? What kind of running?
I was running about it was a good four or 5 mile. Just round I went up north for 3 weeks and just round the roads. Like it was red hot. I had my vest on and just like it was class. Do you know what? I loved it. It was just like big old farmers fields. Running through the cow fields and that. It was mint. Honestly, it was really I really enjoyed it.
That's
I
some
would.
going. That's some going 4 or 5 miles. I did, I think 6K this morning. I was wrecked. It was 20 degrees here in Vancouver. I'm not cut out for it.
Oh, you're in Vancouver?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh man, that's it.
And how do you find that then on the joints? It's something when I was playing when I was heavier, like I don't know, 10 or 12 kilos heavier. I used to find it hard on the joints, the running.
Um it's not too bad. I mean, I'm saying this, but I'm sadly I've got a little bit of an injury at the minute. I rolled my ankle in training last week. It's on the mend, but it's just I've got very weak ligaments for some reason. Like my ligaments are I think my Achilles heel. I've snapped my Achilles as well, like not recently, but like in my career. And I think it's like a good deal smaller than a normal Achilles should be. So to be fair, running, I didn't find it that bad. And to be fair, I did no stretching, mind. Proper, just got out and ran, and it wasn't too bad, mate. Honestly, it wasn't. Surprisingly.
Yeah, good stuff. And so then that set you up pretty well when you got back in with the club.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like just doing a bit of weight, like not being as heavy, like getting a bit more mobile. I find that uh in previous because I mean I always work hard, always. Like I'm not being big headed. I do work hard. I graft. But I find like getting myself in more positions to take ball, carry ball, get myself in better positions. It's just a lot easier now than it was previous.
Yeah, that's a good point. And something that I don't know about you growing up, but there's always such emphasis on size and getting bigger and bigger.
Right there, lad. You froze. You
Oh,
froze, lad.
there we are.
Can you
But
hear us? You froze.
yeah, I can hear you now. Can
I
you hear
don't know
me?
what to do. I've never. I'm not a big Zoom guy.
Can you hear me?
You froze. Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear us. Sorry, you
Oh, yeah.
froze for
Sorry
about good.
there. No, I was just saying that I don't know when you were younger, but was there a lot of emphasis on getting bigger and bigger versus fitter?
Oh, 100%. Completely. I mean, every bugger's on gear up north. I don't know where it was you're from, but you walk down the street and everyone has just got acne back. Like the amount of acne back going about is honestly, it's a pandemic. It's like you walk into my old gym. I mean, don't get us wrong, this gym's always been full of roidheads, but there's people that I've known for years, and it just must be like a culture thing up there now. It's just a normal thing for you. It's as normal as having a protein shake up there. So yeah, there was a lot of emphasis on being massive, and that's all I was really bothered about for a long time. And I don't get this wrong, I still love the gym, but that was one of my biggest things. But I think now I'm starting to get a bit older, a bit more wiser about it, and realizing that I'm 5'10". I don't need to be 130 kg. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. And you can still be as effective in the scrum and in the tight with 5 or 6 kilos off you.
Yeah, and I feel like what I found so far, we're just getting into full 8 on 8 scrums and stuff like that. I found that because my fitness is better, my reactions to going from scrum to maul is a lot better. I'm not as I don't feel like my heart's going to explode as much. I don't get this wrong, I still do feel like that, but it's not as bad as it was. So my aerobic fitness is a little bit better now. So yeah, helps a bit.
Yeah, good stuff. And
I
so
think it
how
froze again, lad.
here, I don't
I
know
don't think
what
it's my is it my internet. I don't know.
I don't know. We'll go. If it goes once more, I'll send you over another link and it'll be better. A different
Right.
kind of Zoom. But anyway, it should be all good. But how'd you get started out playing rugby then?
Uh, Way I've told the story many a time. I was a fat kid, like just lumpy. Like you used to wear a t-shirt in the swimming pools and that, like that kind of kid. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I think like one day I was downstairs and like I said, I must have been on me like second or third Rustler burger of the day. Like, I don't even know about them, the microwavable ones.
Yeah.
You know, like I was eating them when they were cold in the middle. Like I wasn't even bothered. Like I used to like the coldness in the middle. Bit weird. But I must have been on me second or third. Mum came down the stairs and was like, Jesus, like we need to get you involved in some sport, man, because it can't go on like this. Like I was just the amount I used to eat was legendary. Honestly, legendary around my parts. I used to be able to have two medium-sized pizzas, a bag of chips, and then raid me Uncle Ronnie's Mars bar stash in his fridge, and think nothing of it. Do you know what I mean? And that was it. But yeah, basically started from there. So I did a bit of karate. I didn't like that because the instructor hit me leg, and I didn't like him after that, so I didn't want to go. And then I did boxing, which I loved. I loved boxing. But then one time I was about maybe 13. I went to a different boxing place. It's in Shildon, like Shildon Boxing Club. And when I went there, right, I said to them, I was like, "Yeah, I box in Bishop," but they thought I said I boxed for Bishop. So on my first day, they put me in the ring with a lad called Aiden Price, and he kicked me head in like so like that was a gun after that. And then literally went down the local rugby club one day and really enjoyed running the tackle bags. Scored 6 tries in my first game, and it just basically like it kind of clicked from there.
Nice one. And when then did you start getting serious, I suppose, from being the lumpy fat kid that
Whoa!
wasn't playing sport? That's what you said. That's what you said. But but from like not being a sports kind of person to then rugby, like enjoying it, did it then like after a while were you like, oh, I really like this or I want to go after it or did
Yeah, I mean, don't get us wrong. I'm still not a sports person, mind. Like,
yeah?
I'm not one like watching. I'll watch my team and I'll watch what I need to do to improve myself. But I'm not one for just casually watching a game in the house or like catching it in the pub and stuff like that. That's not a bit of me. I'm really not a sportsman. But it got it got sort of professional, I suppose, when I got picked for county, which was like the first big thing sort of that happened, and that was like Durham County, and I think I was around about, I must have been about 14, 15, and I think after I got picked for that, I remember I was in school and I got the letter saying, "Oh, you've been selected for Durham County," and I think from there I was like, right, I might have something in this, like let's stick at it. I've always been interested in like gymming and being strong and stuff. So like I was like, right, let's let this go hand in hand. So let's go to the gym, let's go for a run, let's start like sorting myself out. Do you know what I mean? It
Yeah.
was that I reckon.
And it just and then one thing led to another, like Durham County, and you started what enjoying the gym and enjoying the kind of pushing yourself and getting better, and then just kind of kept going from there.
Kept going from there. Like, don't get us wrong, I've known some really amazing people through my life. Like, my dad is unbelievably supportive. My mother is unbelievable. Like, she's always there for me whenever I need her. Like when I was coming up, like they do anything for me to succeed. I was really fortunate in that I was surrounded with good people at Bar UFC, Bishop Autumn Rugby Club, like who really like brought me up. Like I was like my inspiration was like Danny Ross, who was a tight head even now. Like he keeps going into retirement, coming out, going in, coming out. He's still a bishop now. Like must be in his late fifties. Stephen Colwell, who was a manager there. He was like the top boy at Bishop Warren. He's got his fingers in so many pies. Like he's just helped me like throughout to get like in with the right people. So I've been very fortunate in my coming up. So yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. And where did it go then from Durham when you were like kind of making county or when you were 16, 17, 18?
So yeah, from Durham County, I got picked for England clubs and schools. So that was my big thing. I played against Ireland, um, and I got my first cap. I mean, my mum still has it framed. Do you know what I mean? That was like a really big thing. Like, and then from there, sort of like that's when I became professional. Like that's when like I couldn't just sack off training to stay with the missus at the time. Do you know what I mean? Like I couldn't just like sack training off to do whatever I wanted. Like I had to sacrifice a lot of nights out and a lot of socializing and yeah, like a lot of people believed in me that I could make it, and that sort of like drove me in a way to sort of make it for them. Uh, but yeah, from England clubs and schools, it was I got, and then the next like step was like sort of like college. So I went to Hartbury College. They developed me like massively. Sort of played like Nat one at the weekend, and then like the Bucks first team on the Wednesdays, so like 2 games a week. Like I don't know how I did it, but somehow I managed it. And that's for 2 nights out a week as well. That's like going out on the Wednesday. So yeah, yeah, it was just literally to Hartbury from there.
Nice. And how did it feel going into that England setup, like as a young lad and pretty quick, like, you know, you weren't playing sport, then you're playing a bit of rugby and then you're in a county side, then in an England team. Like how did that feel going into that?
Oh, when I was younger, everything happened really quick. It seemed like to when I was like older. Do you know what I mean? Like everything seemed to be like Bishop, County, England clubs and schools. Like it was really like it was it was really full on. Um, but like it was so like intimidating. Like I haven't been. I'm. It might not seem like it, but I actually am very like introverted. Um, I don't like really like public speaking or like anything like that. Like even though I sometimes thrive in that like scenario sort of thing. But like you know, getting there and meeting the lads. Like there's one lad, England Club and Schools. He's here now. He's at Sarries. James Flynn. He's the other. He's a loose head just come in. They signed from Jersey, sort of the same place I was at. And just seeing him and stuff like it's mad. Like some lads that you think are going to be like amazing and stuff, and like they just sort of drop off, and then lads like come through and been through the journey that I've been through, like James and stuff. Like it's yeah, it's mad. It's like a whirlwind sort of thing when you're younger. But obviously, it slowed down a bit when I was got a bit older. I'm just going to put this fan on, lad. I'm sweating my box off in here.
All good.
2 seconds. Yeah. Let us know if it interferes with the sound. There you are.
All
Lovely.
good.
Yeah.
And so what went you said there went really quick and then slowed down. What was it like Harbury? Did that go well? Like playing a lot, playing twice a week as you were saying and getting better and
Yeah, Hartby went really well. Like, obviously, there's that bit of socialising that you do that sort of dropped off. Like you do as a uni student, like any uni student would be like not like drinking too much, like enjoying myself a little bit too much. But you know, like I always kept at it, and then like I got yeah. So see, I spent a bit of time like at Gloucester training with Gloucester, even though like I played for them once, but never signed, sort of thing. When I was younger, and then got signed for Bristol, and that was like sort of like the big step up. That was like the big leagues. I was like, right, Jesus Christ, like this is happening now. Spent a year at Bristol, and then sort of like they offered me another contract, but I felt like I wasn't there as a rugby player yet. I felt like I needed to genuine. I felt like I needed to toughen up. And what better place than the championship to toughen yourself up, man? Like I've been at Jersey, you got put through your paces and stuff. Like it it was amazing, but just sort of like a longer journey than what I see lads having now. Some lads are in the A card, stay in the A card all the way up to playing like like first team and stuff. So that's why I'm saying it went a bit slower when I was older.
Yeah. And so you were with Gloucester, was it when you were in Hartbury? And is that when it was and training a bit with them?
Yeah, trained a bit with them. I was only young, maybe it's like 19, 20, and I think I had a A-League game with them, like one A-League game. There's a picture on me. I've deactivated my Facebook, but on my Facebook there's a picture of us somewhere in that kit. Um, but yeah, like just training in and out and being in that professional environment, like it's bloody hell. Like I love Gloucester, but Jesus, intimidating mind because you're with all these like big dogs, and it's like it's mad. But really enjoyed it.
Yeah. And how did you find that like intimidating? Because that's something that even just chatting to different people, everyone I think goes to when you step up in level. But how did you find that?
Um, I'm quite good with people. Um, yeah, it was tough. Like when you first come in, it was like I remember I was sat in Billy 12 Trees' spot, and geez, I took some stick for that. They were like, "Oh, what are you sitting there for?" Giving it a bit of haze. Like nothing too bad, but it was just like when you're a kid, when you're a youngster, a youngling, you're like, Jesus, like, what have I done? Like, do you know what I mean? So like it's just stuff like that. But it wasn't too bad, and I sort of kept myself to myself a little bit, like, stayed with like the A cards, stayed with like people who I was playing with, sort of thing. So yeah, it was like I managed to get through that without any like big incidents. Like it was just good.
And so you're just training for like you were there for a few months and then just nothing came of it, was it? And back to Hartbury.
Yeah, so like in and out of training and stuff, like yeah, nothing really came of it. I was just like playing for Hartbury and stuff. Like failed me second year, so did me second year, me third, and then did a fourth year. So I was at Hartbury for 4 years. So there's a lot of student debt, a lot of debt, mate. I'm telling you. And again, I tell you something, you have to pay it as well. I thought I built a bump that till I'm about 50, but nah, I'm paying it. I
Yeah.
thought I built no.
Yeah.
But he sort of dropped off, and then like I think after being at Jersey for 3 years, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Towards the end of my third year at Jersey, I was done. I think I was at that point where I felt like, I've been the champ for so long now, like no one's interested. So it's like, what can I do? Like, I think I'm gonna pack in rugby, get myself moved back up north. But
Yeah, that must be tough. So, and when you were in Bristol, you turned down that, like you said, because you wanted to get more rugby and like toughen yourself up. So you kind of turned down like a chance with Bristol to like go that route to like toughen yourself up, as you say. But that must have been a big decision. Or why'd you do that?
um, I just thinking about it. It wasn't the best of offers for one, which I thought at the time, and I was like, it wasn't bad, and it was like about the average of what lads were getting at that point. Um, but yeah, it wasn't a lot of money, and if I'm going to be truthful, I just didn't feel like Bristol was a good fit for me. Um, you know, I, it was just, I suppose, with the environment I was in at the time, it was very like, there was a lot of tight edge, there was a lot of people in front of me. Like, I was not going to get a sniff at a game. Like, it was at that point where they came up from the champ, like, bought loads of players, like, just like, silly money, like, bought loads of players. And I think I was about, even A card, I was about sixth or seventh choice tight head. So like at that point, I'm like, I'm not gonna get any game time. Even when I was there, I maybe had 3 or 4 A League games, and I say like maybe about 5 scrummaging sessions in the year I was there. And there was this one point where I was playing against Exeter in the A League, and I was propping against Murray Low, and he shoved me head so far up my ass, I was licking me over kneecap, mate. and he pushed me over my try line. And there's only been two times in my life I thought, three times in my life I thought, yeah, I'm done with rugby. And when I got pushed over my own try line, right, and I was sat in the changing rooms in Bristol, like my back all bent out of shape, right, my neck twisted like this, I thought, yeah, it's not for me. So I think that was sort of part of the reason I turned that offer down.
Yeah. And then so you went off to Jersey, and how was playing in the champ? Like how was that? I've heard lots about it, but how was that?
Hard, mate. It is the champ is a rough place to be. It's like the competition physically is just it's a don't get this wrong, like Prem is hard, but these lads are like you get the old heads, you get such a different variety of lads. Like you get the young up and comers, the people who've been in the Prem, drop down, like love it, like massive, aggressive. Just if you want what they do now, if you want like to get toughened up as the academy, like get yourself in the champ for a couple of years. You go to the like some of the worst pitches. There'd be waterlogged, you'd be drowning in the scrum. Like it definitely puts a bit of character into you.
Yeah. And with Jersey, then it's interesting. You flying all around the place, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how they afford it. I was having
Yeah.
this I've not got a clue. They must have this mega deal with the airlines. But to fly to and from so many times in the season, I just genuinely don't know where the money comes from. But they
Yeah.
find,
Yeah. And then you were saying towards the end, what was it, third year, you were kind of like right, just about ready. You were saying to wrap it all up.
yeah, I just feel like I run my course in rugby. Like I tried as hard as I could try. And I've been dealt some shit hand. Not as bad as some people, but I've been dealt some shit hands with my snapping my Achilles. I felt like this was in my first year. I was sort of a newcomer, so I was maybe like second or third choice, and I feel like I worked my tits off in that second season to come back in the best way I possibly could come back. Like, I was really fit. I was really like ready to go and aggressive, and like I got my scrummaging down. It was all going to be class. And then first game of the season in Coventry, snapped my Achilles, and it's just like to be hit with that for it, and you're out for a year, and it's just like it was a tough thing. But don't get this wrong, like hats off to Jersey, they looked after us, they kept me, they did everything they possibly could for me, and like God bless them.
Yeah. And how was that snapping the Achilles? How was that road getting back?
But I very because I was with the missus I am with now, and she's so patient with me. But like, I was getting like moods because you're on the crutches for like months and months and months. And I don't know if you've ever used crutches for that long or had like any injuries or anything, but crutches are I'm not to swear on this, Brian.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Crutches are a fucker, mate. Hey, I'm so said that I'm gonna be swearing a lot more now. Crutches are an absolute bastard. I tell you something, like I was there with my crutches and even just picking someone up from the floor. Like I sometimes forget they were there, my arms all over the show and I'm slipping all over the floor and like I'm coming back, like we had a little dog. We were looking after my missus's dog at the time, little Lily. And the shite all over the floor. I'm getting my crutches in the shite. I'm slipping all over, getting proper pitted. I'm in this boot and it's painful. And it was just like, it's mood changing. Honestly, it tested my relationship, to be fair. Because honestly, I was a bell end sometimes. I was just so fed up and so like sick of just watching everyone get so good. And I'm just sat here in fucking Twilight Zone, like thinking, what am I going to do now? Do you know what I mean? It was just like, and the road, and I was just doing loads of, don't get us wrong, I got to 130 kg because I was just eating and like getting as big as I possibly could up top. And I got really strong, but that was a good part of it. That was sort of a release. But seeing me legs wither away, like you should see the size of the calf difference, even now. The calf difference, man, I look like a freak when I have like shorts on. You should see it. It's ridiculous. But
Yeah.
oh, that was a really, really dark time being like in that boot, man. Just looking for outlets and just being in the red hot heat with a fucking boot on. Honestly, it was horrendous.
Yeah, bleak. And how'd you kind of keep pushing then to, like you said the next year you were nearly ready to give up. How did you not kind of think I'll pack it in then, or how'd you keep pushing?
So like, like towards the back end, I managed to like, when I was like fit, I managed to get myself in a decent enough nick, like nowhere near where I was before I snapped my Achilles, man. I was on top form, but I got through the season. I had a really good season. Got man of the match a couple of times. Like it was really progressing good. Um, and like I don't know, like it was just I think because of like I had a few games in the first year. I snapped my Achilles in the second, and then like played like a full season like starting in the third. I was just like, look, I've been here for 3 years. Look how many games I've played. Like I played more for Sarries than I have for Jersey now. So it's like like how long am I going to be in the champ now because I've missed that fucking 1 year where I've done my Achilles? How long do I have to wait for this? And you're not getting any younger. I'm not a spring chicken. Do you know what I mean? It's just it was. I think it was that mindset, and then like obviously with my misses and stuff like, and the they do what they can Jersey, but like sometimes the money's not as good. Like I know it's a tax haven, but everything's so expensive anyway, so it doesn't really make a difference. Like all the food's taxed, so you pay like an extra pound or an extra summit on top of what you normally pay. And like I don't know, I was just sick. To be fair, I was thinking about getting just a regular job. Be fair.
Yeah, and in the champ, like you're going season to season, are you just kind of like hoping that you'll get a bigger deal or get up to the prem or up to a top div because money's not great there, is it?
It's not no, it's not great. I mean, don't get us wrong. Like I was fine. I got by. Um, yeah, no, I did get by and stuff because my missus had a job as well, and she was making good money. She was like manager of Pandora, so she was making like books compared to me. I was the housewife. I'd get home like make sure the dinner was ready and all that. Like, do you know what I mean? It was a bit of a role reversal. Uh, but yeah, some lads love it though. Some lads will be in the champ and love being in the champ and stuff, and that like hats off to them. Like, but I just felt like I I just wanted to push on. I really wanted to push on, and if that wasn't going to happen, I couldn't see myself staying in the champ.
Yeah. And with that third year, when you're saying you want to push on, were you just like, I'm just gonna give it everything and just like did you like with that and then things happened?
Yeah, pretty much, mate. It was I have an agent, um, and all you can really do is just do your best and like hope for the best. I mean, what else can you do? Just play games week in week out. Make sure you put out your best performance you can, and just hope that at that specific point one person is there who like a scout and like they get you at your best moment at the like, right time and stuff like so yeah, man, like you're just trying to get through it and hope for the best. Like that's all you can do.
Yeah. How did the move to Saris come about then?
Fuck knows. I couldn't tell you now. I genuinely, lad, people knew about it before I did. Like I was sat in the change rooms one time, and everyone was like, "Congratulate me," because I haven't had social media for a while. So they're like, "Oh, congratulate me about Saris and stuff," and I was like, "What? What are you talking about?" Like I thought it was Leroy had to leave for who was going to Saris, so I was congratulating him, but he ended up going to Edinburgh. So it was such a kerfuffle of a thing, and yeah, it was just such a weird situation to be in. Like everyone sort of knew where I was going before I did, and then obviously like got the call from Kendo, and like it was just a crazy like almost didn't feel real, it was surreal,
How's that? So,
bizarre.
so you were like you weren't on social media, or you're not on the phone or whatever. So boys saw the deal or saw the chat
Something,
online or something.
something must have they must have found out somehow, I haven't got a clue because I didn't know. Like I was probably one of the last people to know about it. It was because I genuinely thought Lee Wright Leaf was going to Saracens, and I don't know whether he had a talk with them or whatnot, but like I just don't know how it happened. And then like I've just got the like phone call from Kendo and Nick Kennedy and stuff, and like the rest is history. It's just such a bizarre way for it to like come about.
Yeah. And how was then stepping into that, stepping into essentially one of the best teams in the world?
Uh, well, it is. I sometimes have to pinch myself even now, thinking like, oh God, I'm talking to Jamie George on a daily basis. I'm talking to Billy, Mako, like Faz, like like it's just these lads who you've grew up watching and stuff, and couldn't even imagine like, just coming to work and just, you all right, Bill, how's it going? Do you know what I mean? It's just so surreal sometimes, and I suppose it's like when I first came in, I just sort of had to put all that to the back of my head and just think, look, like I'm just coming into a team. Like if I overthought this, which I'm a classic overthinker like Brian, like I overthink everything. If I overthink it, I will not put my best foot forward here. So I just sort of had to come in and just be like, right, let's get down to business. Let's either make it or not.
Yeah, that's a great attitude. Just like kind of focus on your work, do your work, because it'd be so easy to get overwhelmed, have imposter syndrome, think you're not good enough. Because like you said, you watch these boys on the TV.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It is easy to think like that, but I just think I adopted some. Sometimes you don't realize you're doing it, but like I'm quite proud of myself because I adopted a certain way of being that like it's a team and I just need to do my best in this team. Don't think I'm an imposter. Just sort of like try and fit in as much as possible, and yeah, it sort of worked out for me. So like I sort of adapted quite well to it, surprisingly well. I surprised myself because sometimes now, like I said, I think just Jesus, like a Mako over there. Do you know what I mean? It's still a surreal experience, but like somehow, and I don't know how I adapted at the time.
Yeah, no, that's a great one in that just focusing on your job and the job that you have to do right now. And when you do that, then you don't get overwhelmed by all the other million things you could be thinking about.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's completely it. Just I surprise yourself sometimes, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it looked then that you hit the ground running there. Like you were playing pretty quickly. You were in getting a lot of minutes and appearances then when you went to series, weren't you?
Yeah, I was just like, I think it was just like doing like just major enthusiasm. I was just wanting to play everything. Like, I remember one time Phil was like, "Oh, do you play loose?" And I was like, "I can do if you want me to. Like, I'll do anything just to play." And like, I still have that enthusiasm now. I want to be involved in everything. I want to do everything. I want to go to. I want to like pass after. I want to do extra like scrummaging technique sessions with Chippy, and like it's just having. I think having that enthusiasm to just like do anything to play was sort of like what helped me like get on those times. And yeah, like I'm really like fortunate that like I adopted that attitude.
Yeah, that's brilliant attitude. And how was the what were the differences between the champ and Saris?
At first, the speed. I can't remember one of my first games. It was against Bristol. It might have been my first game, and I remember just stood there and like all this stuff's happening around me. I'm like, what am I doing? Like I was like, what do I go to next? Do I go to this rook or the rook? It's already come out. Like it was just like that took some getting used to because I think when you're playing on a shitty muddy pitch, like in the middle of fucking nowhere, and it's a lot different to being in these big stadiums on these like 4G grounds. Like it's just is it 4G? Is that what you call
Yeah,
them? 4G
yeah, no, it is.
like hybrid grounds, coconut in the ground and stuff like that. It's a whole like different kettle of fish. Like lads are rapido. So yeah, that took some getting used to, but fingers crossed. I've hopefully keeping up with them now.
Yeah. And anything to help getting used to it or
Just training, mate. Just training with the lads, like trying to pick up speed. Like train hard, play easy, sort of attitude sort of thing. So yeah, just being around it and trying to keep up with the top lads.
Yeah, I haven't heard that one before. That's a good one. Train hard, play easy. So I put the work in and training and
Yeah, don't say like, oh, this is a quote from me, 'cause that's a bloody. Everyone said that, that's a well known quote.
that's a good. Oh, I'll put your name to that. No, I'll put your name to that. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, yeah. Like you put in the graft and training and just work hard during the week, and then it's easy at the weekend.
Yeah, that's it. It's easy at the weekend. Wait, I mean, it's fucking not mine. It's not easy at the weekend, but it'd be a little bit easier than if you train like shit. You play like shit, in my experience.
Yeah, yeah. And do you feel like fully comfortable now? Like at that, or sorry, actually, did you always think that you could play at this level?
Nah, God's honest truth. Nah, and I think it's outside sources believing in me that helped me get to where I am. Like I've got a very supportive fiance. Like she's unbelievable. Like my mom, I said, my mum, my dad's always pushing me. Like he'll always tell me the truth, which I respect. He'll always tell me if I've played shit. He'll always tell me. And I come from a family where like getting the piss took out yeah is. I can't remember the last time I had a compliment from anyone in like my family. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like frowned upon to compliment someone. Like, I've had it all my life. Like, it's just that sort of environment, but you learn to like take that criticism on board, and you got a thicker skin because of it. Like, it takes a lot to like get under my skin because I've had it all my life. Do you know what I mean? Like fat boy. I once went to Lightwater Valley, which is like a theme park near where I live, and I wore a fluorescent green T-shirt, and all the flies got attracted to me T-shirt, and he called us Fly Boy for 5 years. Brian, he called me Fly Boy for 5 years. Fly Boy. I was I was known as Fly Boy. So like when you take that sort of shit when you're younger, like being called a dickhead, sort of like I've been saying your shit is just sort of water off the duck's back. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And did that? I used to be fat as well when I was younger, but it drove me on. Did you use that to drive you?
Um, Not really. Like it wasn't as because like I said, like I always had the pistol cocktails. I always like used to rip my trousers and that. Like when I was a kid, my mum had to buy like loads of pairs and used to rip the ass out of them all the time. I took a lot of stick. Um, but like you said, you get a tougher skin, and I wasn't as bothered anymore. Like as soon as I got into rugby, it was sort of like I'm a pro. I started as number 8, and I went to a prop, and it's sort of like I was more interested in packing on muscle and stuff. And I wouldn't say it's had any major impact on me other than, like still being a bit like resilient to get my shirt off or like putting a pillow over me belly when I'm like sat on the couch. It's just stuff like that. That's probably affected me. But besides from that, like nothing. Like it's just part of my life.
Yeah, because it'd be so easy to go the other way and start to allow things to affect you and like your self-worth and then like not kick on and become, a pro top level athlete and someone who, like go to the gym and get strong and get fit and cut it with the best. It'd be, you could people could just I think just easily go the other way, and just be like, ah, well, sod it all.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that is a possibility. It's like, but what you're saying there, like pro athlete, it doesn't pro athlete. It doesn't. It's not a word that like I don't think of myself as a pro athlete. Even though I am, it's like it's just such a foreign thing to think. Like from where I've come from, that I am actually like in that level. It just doesn't feel like that. You know what I mean? It's like it's just like you go to work, you put in as much graft as you possibly can, and you play against other teams on the weekend. Like it's just there's this big pedestal sort of thing that when you're a kid you're like, wow, do you know what I mean? But when you're there, it's like I'm just the same mush. You know what I mean? I'm not like any different to what I was before this. It's just, like I'm just at like a level where I wanted to be. Do you know what I mean? It's just, it's different. But did you um did you feel like being fat as a kid's affected you?
It definitely drove me. Like like when I was about the same
You
12.
look athletic now, mate. You're more of a
Oh,
pro. I am.
no, I am. No, no, I'm slimmer now, but like, yeah, no, when I was like 11, 12, 13, I was fat and I used to love sports, but like I'd be like, I'll prove you wrong, kind of like in my head, I'd be like, I'm gonna be the best, be it like football, rugby, boxing, basketball, whatever. It just drove me to be the best. Like I always in competing, I just always want to be the best in whatever sport. And I got so much out of that that like, then if someone would turn around and be say you're fat or whatever, I'd be like, I would just channel it into, you'd talk back to them, but then you realize that doesn't get you anywhere, like getting into that. And you're just like, well, that doesn't get me anywhere. So I may as well just, go onto the pitch or the court or whatever. So that's how, it drove me. And then all of a sudden, what?
I can't have had the same experience, but it's good that you have used that to do that. Do you know what I mean? To drive you. Yeah, you're like this. There's a bit of crack for you, right? And you might call us a dickhead. You might not believe it, right? But remember, you watched Matilda as a kid.
Yeah.
You must see Matilda, have you?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Bruce Bogtrotter from Matilda,
Yeah.
right? Well, back in uni, I was watching Matilda, right? And I thought, fuck me, like, what's his name now? So, like, I put in his name into Facebook. Anyhow, he only come up on Facebook, right? So I thought, right, this is the actual guy. So I Googled him. It was the actual guy. I was like, fuck me, I can't believe I found him. I sent him a private message on Facebook. So anyhow, I did it. I sent to him. I thought, I'm never going to get a reply back. Do you know what I mean? I'll say whatever the fuck I want. So I sent him a message saying, hey, mate, just watch Matilda and you ate fuck out of that cake. And like thinking I'm never ever going to get a reply, right? But he only fucking replied back saying, wait, I've got it, mate, I've got it here. Can you see us or not?
I can see you.
Wait there, I've got it here. I said, fuck me, you demolished that. And he said, yup. And I'll tell you something, right? It just made me day.
Oh,
Like,
that's
it
good.
absolutely just said, yup. Honestly, man, that's my claim to fame. I'm buzzing off that story. It's absolutely class.
Claim to
But
fame.
yeah, that's my claim to fame, that.
Yeah, nice one. That's a good one. And how far into the way you say like you don't see yourself as any different, and that's brilliant. That's unreal. Like not, getting too high on yourself or anything. But how far into the future do you look? Do you like, down the line do you be thinking?
Well, I mean, I'm motivated now. I want to play thing eventually. I want to play thing. I want to get to a level where, like, I mean, everyone wants to play for England, don't they? Like, I mean, if you're an English like person who plays rugby, like that's the dream, isn't it? It's just, like I want to get myself to a certain level where I'm in the running for it. Do you know what I mean? Like I have aspirations. I want to move on. Like I feel like anything's possible with that. With the journey I've had. I feel like it's a possibility. And I feel like if I, keep working hard and stuff, like it could be a very like achievable possibility.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, it's out there. Oh, back. Oh, sorry,
Yeah,
like what we.
100%. And how do you so you set that goal and then like getting better and getting after what you do week to week?
Learn and absorb as much as I can from all the lads around me, every single person. Like everybody has the strengths, everyone has certain things they're like best at. And it's just speaking to everyone and just like learning from them. And like I'm in an environment where, like everyone's just pals. Like there's like everyone's just wants everyone to succeed. It's just I'm in a very fortunate environment to be in, man. Just everyone just wants to get on. So absorbing as much as I can, um, and like keeping keeping the demons away, mental health wise as well. That's a big thing because you know you can go down that rabbit hole, um, you know, quite a bit. So it's just you know keeping a level head and just absorbing as much as you can.
Yeah. And have you had those in the past?
Um, you know, like everyone has their ups and downs, bro. Do you know what I mean? It's but you just you know you get yourself into some dark place and you think, oh God, I'm not gonna. What the friggin' hell am I doing? Like I'm not. What am I doing here? I'm not good enough. Those thoughts come in and like you know you get stressed out and you know like I've been at points sometimes where like you come into work and you feel like people are chatting about you behind your back and stuff like that and you know they're not and they wouldn't but like you know your fucking head can play tricks on you and it's a funny thing uh so yeah just being as positive as I can and putting myself in the best like mental state to achieve what I want to achieve.
Yeah. And are there anything I know exactly what you're talking about. And is there anything you do to help you to be your best self?
um you know like I mean, all you have to do is just talk to someone at the club and have the crack and just realize that people are just like really like want the like they want the best for you. Do you know what I mean? You're inside most of the shit that goes on is inside your own head. Like you get these anxieties. Um, you think like, oh, they're gonna talk about me. They're talking about behind my back. Like, or you get like awkward like conversations, and you feel like you're being awkward, and you know you it's like a hard thing to deal with sometimes. So what I found recently is just, you know, like I know it sounds daft and stuff, and this is like not like like you know like a concrete solution, but works for me is just making sure I've got enough sleep, making sure my food's on point, like making sure that I make time for my family, you know, like switch off. I think last season I because I was so overwhelmed with getting in series and stuff, like and like playing these games, I didn't want to lose it. I didn't want to like, you know, I wanted to keep playing and stuff. So I literally spent the off season in the gym and like running, and you know, I didn't give myself time to switch off, and that affected me massively. I think through the season, like I didn't have that off period. So it's just about you know when you get home, you know, learn what you need to learn, but just switch off, be with your family, like do something you want to do, and like not worry as much about things. And that's helped me massively. Like you know, like designated times for certain things, you know, and like yeah, I feel in a very like positive mental attitude so far. I mean, it's early doors, but like I am very positive so far.
Oh, that's unreal. Thanks for sharing that. And yeah, it's so true you say about just, and I find it too, the simple things, getting your 8 hours sleep, eating good food. I notice it myself when I start eating shite and like takeaways and processed food and it tastes nice and stuff, but then it starts catching up with you, or you start staying up late and you start eating, it starts catching up with you a little bit, you know? And the other thing, kind of what you're saying there is the mental peace kind of when you let go, like let go of all the worry and let go and just like let go of it, you know?
Yeah, 100%. Like when you were saying about like the takeaways and stuff like that, there, as silly as it sounds, you do need a takeaway now and again. Don't
Of
get me wrong,
course, don't get me wrong here. Yeah,
but like it's temporary happiness. It's like something that you enjoy at the time, and then literally 5 minutes later, I feel like a fucking slug. I feel like a big fucking you know sweat box, and I'm sat there thinking, why did I do that? Like for me, McDonald's, I can't even eat McDonald's anymore. I can't even do it to myself. It just I feel so shitty afterwards, and it's like when you're on a routine, you're eating good stuff, you're getting your vegetables in, you're getting your sleep, you know, like you just feel a lot happier for a longer period of time. Like it's more consistent, you know. It's just, but like, yeah, sleep is a big one for me as well. Like as long as I get me 8 hours, I'm fucking sound.
yeah, 100%. Oh, it's mad. And something else I found as well that was brilliant with the sleep a couple of years ago is going to bed like a similar time every night, like even on the weekends, and having that routine. Because what I used to be doing, you know, you have your routine during the week, but then stay up till 2 or 3 in the morning, and then you're kind of all over the place, and your sleep's all over the place. But just dialing in those kind of couple of things has such a knock-on effect.
You can't get it back, mate. Either you can't get those like that time back. Like it's you'll just feel knackered for weeks. It's one of them things. But like I'm in bed at 9:30 pretty much every night. I have a routine, so I'm in bed at 9:30. I know you shouldn't really go on your phone, but I literally go on my phone till I watch Family Guy on my phone till I've got one eye shut, like that. Got one eye shut, and I literally go to bed when the phone's about to fall on my face, and that's normally around 10 o'clock. So literally, I'm in bed. I'm in asleep by 10, pretty much every night. So it's just like I think as well, there's like these. Obviously, if you need help, like with mental health and stuff, like there is an aspect of helping yourself to an extent. So it's just you need to sort of like do things, change things in your life that like are causing negative effects in your body.
Yeah, for sure. There is a lot of it about helping yourself first. You're dead right. Yeah, and kind of sorting out the things that you need to sort out. Everyone knows that you shouldn't be eating that shite food. Everyone knows that you shouldn't be staying up till all hours and that. Like you kind of know that yourself, and it's we can all find things that we know we can do a bit better.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
Uh,
completely.
and do they help you in SARS? Is there any like I don't know, mental health support or
Yeah, loads. His lad, Jonesy. He like offers a lot of support. The CC who does a lot of mindfulness, which I find really helpful. I used to do mindfulness, but I do mindfulness before every game. I do like 10 minutes meditation before every game. Um, the support's there when you need it. It literally could not be better in that aspect of things. I always find it so helpful, and like they have this environment at Sarries where like you could walk into the coach's office and just have a crack and like you can speak to anyone. So it's like, and all the physio staff is so like really like some of my best mates on the physio staff is just it's just a really cool environment. Like
that's unreal. That's unreal. And yeah, it's so important to create a good environment, not to have anyone on pet, not to have anyone above anyone or below anyone. Like we're all this, everyone's the same. Like we're all the same. We're just all in it together.
yeah.
And what kind of mindfulness stuff do you do?
So like so Cece will get us all in a circle and he'll just like sort of ask us to relax and like with my meditation specifically, it's like I've got like go on YouTube and like there's these spot like 10 minute like guided meditation for like sport and stuff, and it's just about like just chilling out before games and stuff. Don't add that pressure on yourself because like for me it had negative effects on me. Like if I overthought things, which I do, I'm a massive overthinker. Um, like if I started overthinking things, it just wouldn't pan out the way you'd want it to in like games and like imagining in your head like what obviously in your head like just imagining how you want this game to go and what you're going to do and stuff like that like there's a word for it. Oh,
Visualization.
visualization. Yeah, visualization, it really helps.
Yeah. And that breathing, like I said, that meditate, that's class that you're doing that meditation to just center yourself, bring yourself down a bit, that you're not all getting so wound up in your head that you're all over the place.
Yeah, 100%. Like like the breathing techniques and stuff like there's that the marine breathing. Have you done that
The four, is it?
thing? Yeah, the cycle. Yeah, mate, that's I mean, it doesn't work for me, mind, because I get bored of it so quick. But like, for some people, it just calms them right down, helps them sleep and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, the meditation is class. And do you do it any other time outside of before games?
Not really. I've got a 2-year-old, Brian. I'm on my feet all the time. She's honestly, she's at that age where like she doesn't give a fuck, and like she'll do things, then look at me as if to say like, "What are you gonna do about it?" Like, do you know what I mean? But yeah, I'm on like I'm pretty balls to the wall at the minute. Me and my missus, and we've got very little help down here. Like, it's not like I can drop them up north to my mum and Like, they'd be dads, you know what I mean? Like, drop them and just, right, have them for the weekend. We're going to have a date night. Like, it's not as easy as that. And babysitters are a fortune as well. So, yeah, for the time being, I'm pretty busy through the week.
You're busy. Yeah, yeah. Well, hey, good stuff. Alec, thanks a mil for chatting. It's been unreal. Really enjoyed it.
I've enjoyed it too, Brian. We should do it again sometime.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe end of the season. Yeah, towards the tail end when you're winning a prem
Yeah, keep on.
and called
Nice
up
one.
for England for the first time.
Cheers, mate. Thank you. So, like, just about the podcast and stuff. Where does this go out to and stuff? I don't know
Um,
much.
yeah, so it goes Spotify, Apple Podcasts, just everywhere really, I suppose. Yeah, yeah, all the kind of main spots. Yeah, and then YouTube, I'll throw it up there. YouTube isn't as big, but yeah, Spotify, Apple, all that.
All right. I hope everyone enjoyed it. And,
Oh man,
yeah,
it was yeah, no, it was brilliant. Yeah, thanks for being open and sharing all that and chatting. And no, it's brilliant.
no problem, Bry. It's not
Cheers.
about out then, pal.
Well, yeah, we'll be in
How
touch
do
and
you do? Do I knock it off or do you knock it